days, 3 days of 90. Once you get to 104,
that
needs its own term in Dan Skelton. That's beyond heat wave.
It does, but we don't have one. Thankfully, we don't hit that that often.
Yeah.
But we did get 90 today, guys. Hot and humid, usually fuel for thunderstorms. All right, worst storms that blew through the city of Reading points west. Looking a little bit better. Lehigh Valley, we're getting some rain, but the valley, the I-78 corridor on north, missing the severe weather. That's a good thing. Other spots down along the 422 corridor are right smack dab in the middle of some hail, some wind. Confirmed 68-mile-per-hour gust at the Pottstown Airport. So some of these storms packing a punch. 86 right now. You can kind of tell, Lehigh Valley kind of getting brushed, right? Because we're still in the 80s ahead of these storms. 90s in New Jersey. Look at Newark and Toms River, 98. Where we've seen the rain, it cools you off into the 70s. All right, so the rain now coming into the western Lehigh Valley, western Poconos, all of Berks, Pottstown. Get ready, Bucks. Bucks, Montgomery, Chester counties, most prime for severe weather. You see, that's where we have the warnings right now. This is your strongest cluster of storm, and we're actually going to go into tornado warning mode here. So we're going to get Kelly McGlynn ready, and a tornado warning just popping up on the screen for Upper Montgomery County. So we're going to stay with this warning, get the latest information on it, as tornado warning just popped up for northern Montgomery County. We were tracking a storm. I was looking at it just before we came on air around Limerick in Upper Montgomery County, and that storm looked very well organized. So now National Weather Service issuing a tornado warning. And let's get you the latest information. Per the National Weather Service, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was near Springmount, moving east at 30 miles an hour. This is radar indicated rotation. So in Upper Montgomery County, the storm going to move through the northern parts of Montgomery County, moving east at about 30 miles an hour. So let's kind of zoom in closer, show you what's going on here with this tornado warning for Upper Montgomery County. I'll show you the radar right now. You can see the most organized part of this storm right indeed over that tornado warning area. So you can see the brightest, darkest reds and the purple color here. We are seeing the strongest rotation in this area in Upper Montgomery County. The storm has a history of producing 70-mile-an-hour winds in and around the Pottstown area, and we had half-inch to inch hail from eastern Berks County and into Upper Montgomery County as well. So if you are in Upper Montgomery County, say if you're around Limerick and Skippack and Upper and Lower Providence Township, and through, say, Tower-Minson. We're going to put the polygon up and show you exactly where this warning is in effect for. All right, so let's show you the polygon, which indicates this tornado warning. And this tornado warning, actually, there are two of them popping up. So we're going to focus on the one in our area, in the heart of our area here in Upper Montgomery County. And this does actually go into parts of Bucks County as well. But this includes the northern and central part of Montgomery County, north of the 422 corridor. This is until 5:45 tonight, and this is radar indicated rotation right now with this tornado warning in Upper Montgomery County. So locations include the Lansdale area, Souderton, Hatfield, Schwanksville, Green Lane, Springmount, Gilbertsville, Skippack, Telford, Sellersville, Harleysville, Pottsgrove, Sanatoga, Culpsville, and Montgomeryville. That's just some of the towns indicated in this tornado warning. So we do have tornado warning for Upper Montgomery County, and actually another one farther south too. So if you're in Montgomery County in general, you do want to take shelter from these storms. So that second warning, which we will mention here, is along that PA Turnpike, that 276 corridor. So there are two tornado warnings right now from Montgomery County. We're going to zoom in on this upper one and kind of show you that rotation. We kind of like to look for rotation here and see if we can see the greens and the reds kind of blending together where this warning is, and seeing a little bit perhaps in this area in here. This is radar indicated rotation. We have no confirmed tornado on the ground per the National Weather Service right now, but we are watching rotation within this very well organized thunderstorm. And remember, this storm has a history. This storm is the one that came across southern Berks County. It was very well organized. It had a very strong wind signature with it. And this storm is moving across now central parts of Montgomery County. So if you're in this area, this red polygon, this tornado warning, you want to seek shelter in the lowest floor of your house. Whether or not a tornado is actually on the ground, one can touch down at any time. This is the warning. We're looking at Montgomery County here. So this is the 663 corridor through New Hanover. We got Marlborough Township here, Route 29 coming right down through the heart of Montgomery County. This is the area you want to watch. And this is going to be the PA Turnpike corridor here. So Lansdale interchange is here. You got the Quakertown interchange here. So right through, say, south of 44 and down to about, say, mile marker, maybe 25 or so. That's that part of the northeast extension that will be impacted. And if you're driving, this can be some very, very heavy rain. There could be hail. There has been hail with these thunderstorms as well. 1/2 inch to 1 inch size hail. And this storm does have that 68 mile per hour confirmed wind gust at the Pottstown Airport. So even if there is no tornado, the damaging wind gust is very, very strong with this tornado warning. So you do want to seek shelter. This is the first of 2 tornado warnings. This is the one in the upper half of Montgomery County, and there is that other one in the lower half of Montgomery County. Very strong thunderstorms are moving east, northeast at about 30 miles an hour right through the heart of Montgomery County. You definitely want to seek shelter from these storms. History of producing hail, history of producing damaging winds, some very heavy rain, 2-3 inches an hour can fall within these storms. And of course we have that radar indicated rotation going on as well. We're going to continue to watch this tornado warning. We have our team of meteorologists continuing to track it, and let's check in with meteorologist Kelly McGlynn for more on dual tornado warnings right now in Montgomery County. Kelly.
Yeah, so we're watching these tornado warnings. The first one we want to get to is the one issued for parts of Bucks and Montgomery counties that is in effect until 5:45. So when this warning initially came out at around 5:19 or so, it was located near Springmount, or 20 miles east of Reading, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So there could be areas around the Lansdale area, the Hatfield area, Springmount, parts of Sellersville, Pottsgrove, Montgomeryville. All those areas are under this tornado warning until 5:45. This is for parts of northwestern Montgomery County and west central Bucks County. So what it looks like is that there were 2 storms that kind of phased together and caused some rotation in that one tornado warning for parts of Bucks County and also for parts of Montgomery County, which is why this tornado warning has been issued. So if you're under that warning, you want to be seeking shelter, moving to the lowest level of your house, putting as many walls between you and the outside as you can, and seeking shelter until we give you the A-OK from this tornado warning. So as of right now, we'll still continue to stay on air until 5:45 when this tornado warning expires. So we're seeing some rotation, which initially issued that tornado warning not too long ago. It was around the Springmount area. This is generally moving east at 30 miles per hour. So again, those areas under this tornado warning include the Lansdale area, Hatfield, the Green Lane area, Springmount, Gilbertsville, Sellersville is under this warning, Pottsgrove, Culpsville, and Montgomeryville. So this warning is in effect until 5:45, where we see some rotation from some of these strong and even some severe thunderstorms that are rolling through the area this evening. So again, we are still under this warning until we hear from the National Weather Service. We also have another warning a little bit more to our south. So let's just quickly address that one too. This warning is until 5:45 also, and this includes parts of southeastern Montgomery County, east central Chester County, northwestern Philadelphia County, and northern Delaware County. That's where we saw some rotation over the King of Prussia area, and that tornado warning is moving east at 40 miles per hour. And these storms are also producing some hail too, even some quarter-sized hail. Along with that, we have some very heavy rain. So if we're seeing any rotation, it's going to be some rain-wrapped rotation. We have some flash flood warnings in effect across parts of the area too. So we could even be dealing with some flooding across these areas. So if you're just tuning in now, we're live with a tornado warning for parts of Bucks and Montgomery counties that is in effect until 5:45. So it's northeastern Montgomery County and also west central Bucks County. So if you are under this warning, you want to be seeking shelter. This is continuing to move east in an easterly direction. Moving to the lowest level of your home, putting as many walls between you and the outside as you can. And it looks like they just shaved down this warning a little bit more. They're going to keep it in effect until 5:45. So let's see. The latest there is where, let's see. Spring Mount is where we're seeing this rotation now. It's moving east at 30 miles per hour. Still locations include Lansdale, the Hatfield area, Green Lane, Spring Mount, Skippack, Telford, Sellersville, Harleysville, Culpsville, and Montgomeryville. So all those areas still under this tornado warning for parts of the area until around 5:45 this evening. It's for north central Montgomery County, west central Bucks County. So this is pretty much a severe thunderstorm which is capable of producing a tornado. Nothing has been spotted, nothing has been confirmed. It's radar indicated at this moment. So we'll stay on air for about 15 more minutes or until this warning expires. But with the latest update, this was a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over the Spring Mount area. It's moving east at 30 miles per hour. So again, those areas include Lansdale, the Hatfield area, Green Lane, Spring Mount, the Sellersville area, Harleysville, Culpsville, and Montgomeryville. And we also went a little bit more to our south, and that one also in effect until around 5:45 as well. Include parts of Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties. But again, we'll focus back on this one, which was just shaved back a little bit more. Some rotation indicating the reason for this tornado warning. Right now, it doesn't look like anything too strong. We haven't gotten word of a tornado on the ground, but nonetheless, we'll continue to keep you updated with this tornado warning until it expires at 5:45. If you're under this tornado warning, you'll want to be seeking shelter, moving to a closet, a bathroom, a basement, all great places to take shelter. Turn the TV up if you are taking shelter. Keep us on live. We'll give you the A-OK when things are canceled and it's safe to come out. If you know anybody in this area, give them a heads up, give them a call, tell them to take shelter, put as many walls between you and the outside as you can to seek shelter from this tornado warning. Again, it's a radar indicated tornado warning. I haven't seen anything saying it is a confirmed tornado at the moment, but nonetheless, we will continue to keep you updated with this warning until it expires in about 14 minutes. So with that, Dan, if you're ready, I will send things back over to you. Aside from that, we will stay live with you now, so we'll toss things over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. We're continuing to watch again. National Weather Service updating this polygon. No confirmed tornado, but this storm does have a history of producing wind damage throughout southern Berks County, through Montgomery County, and around the Pottstown area. Hail producing, and right now the rotation seems to be strongest. It seems to be broad right along Route 29. So coming south out of Green Lane as you work your way south through Marlboro, Upper and Lower Frederick Township, down to Schwenksville. This is Route 29 right here, and we're watching that area. This is Route 63 in Upper Montgomery County, and this runs from Green Lane right on down to the Lansdale interchange. So this area right in here is where we're seeing, some broad rotation, generally moving to the east. So you work your way into the Salford Township area, Upper and Lower Salford. You work your way towards Franconia, right in the middle of this polygon. That's what we're going to watch, see if that rotation tightens up. Right now, this is radar indicated rotation. Remember, we've had a flurry of tornado warnings this year, right? We had the one in Bangor, Northampton County. We had the Berks County one that was confirmed. Tornado warnings in this part of the country normally are issued based on the radar. We don't have the network of storm spotters they have in the Midwest and, tons of people on the ground keeping an eye out for these things. So there's no confirmation. That's the other way a tornado warning is issued, when we have confirmation of a tornado on the ground. We don't have that yet, but we have some broad rotation within the storm in Upper Montgomery County. So in this polygon, you do want to seek shelter. So I think this is going to stay south of the Upper Perkiomen Valley. So I think you're clear. Upper Hanover, East Greenville, Pennsburg, Red Hill. Some pretty nasty storms, but the rotation and the damage is a little farther to your south. So south of Green Lane on Route 29, that's that's where we're watching for some of this rotation, right down to about Schwenksville. I think if you're south of Skippick, you're south of Graterford, Collegeville, you should be okay. The worst is past Limerick and Pottstown now, although storm has a history of producing the damaging winds and the hail out through the Pottstown area too. So we're going to focus in on Montgomery County, and then if you're across the Bucks County line too, so this is the northeast extension right here. If you're in upper Bucks County along that Montgomery County line, you do want to seek shelter too. This is the rotation we're watching right here in this general area, but you would be up next. The movement here is about 30 miles an hour, so you do want to prepare. And regardless of whether or not a tornado touches down, we said that with the Berks County tornado warning last week, you're going to have damaging winds with the storm. They may be straight line winds, they may be rotational if a tornado can actually touch down, but this storm does have a history of producing at least a 68-mile-per-hour wind gust at the Pottstown Airport, and there could very well be some 70-plus-mile-per-hour wind gusts in this storm too. And this is the first, as Kelly's been talking about too, of two tornado warnings we have right now. We'll check in on the other one. That's a little down county a little bit through lower Montgomery into the Philadelphia County area. So that second tornado warning. So really anyone in Montgomery County, you have any interest here, you do want to let them know. Hopefully their cell phones, you have that EAS feature on the cell phone. You also have the 69 News Storm Center app where you can follow along and be alerted, live radars and warnings too, right along that 276 corridor. So this is the junction here, Plymouth meeting, 476, 276, the toll booths here, and this is 276, the PA Turnpike corridor, and that rotation here, in and around that Conshohocken area, Plymouth meeting right down in here, Norristown, and this is working its way east through the lower part of Montgomery County and also northern and western parts of Philadelphia County too. So this tornado warning you want to seek shelter from. These are both radar indicated. They both continue through about 5:45. Those will have 10 more minutes. So what happens at 5:45 then? All right, so what the National Weather Service will do is, as this tornado warning is about to expire, they'll do one of two things. They'll decide that the rotation has weakened, that threat of a tornado has diminished, and they'll let the tornado warning expire. That's a possibility. The second one is the storm is still rotating, no confirmed tornado yet, but they do want to alert people, say, farther into central Bucks County, and that's where you do want to be watching things very, very closely. Will this tornado warning be extended to the east? Regardless, this strong to severe thunderstorm is going to work its way into Bucks County. So Montgomery County getting hit as hard right now with two tornado warnings. Very rare to have two tornado separate warnings in one county in this part of the country, but sure enough, this line of storms definitely packing a punch with that history of wind and hail. And there's the dual tornado warnings right now in Montgomery County. Again, slivers of Bucks County, a little bit of Philadelphia County included in these two, but absolutely it is Montgomery County that is under the gun right now. Far northern western Montgomery County, the threat has passed. And there is a little part of this line right here along 202, officially not under a tornado warning right in this area here, but you still have this line of storms. This part's rotating, this part's rotating. The part in the middle, I wouldn't let your guard down. Just because you're in between the red boxes, that is good in that the tornado threat is to your north and to your south. But this whole line of storms, the entire length of Montgomery County, really from about, say, mile marker 40 all the way down to mile marker 19 on the northeast extension, this is where you want to be seeking shelter right now. So that tornado warning continues to about 5:45 tonight. You're going to also pull up the Doppler radar, see how that rotation's looking. And it does look like the at least to me anyway, just at a cursory glance here while we're on air, it seems to be that broad rotation continuing, along that 29 corridor, working its way towards the northeast extension right now. So there you can see the darkest reds usually correspond with the strongest part of the thunderstorm, and these darkest reds right here are from Green Lane through Salford Township, through Franconia Township, and we're going to start kind of focusing in on that western part of Bucks County too. Upper Bucks County, we're going to keep a very close eye on these storms. Route 309 eventually over here as well. So we're gonna keep an eye on this to see if there is going to be continuation of this tornado warning farther east once this current warning expires at 5:45. So as Kelly and I have been saying, you're in this warning, what should you do? You should seek shelter. You know, you don't want to wait until a tornado is actually confirmed. I mean, we may never officially confirm one, but this storm definitely has a history. This storm has been very well organized all the way back through Lebanon County, Lancaster County. It produced severe winds and flash flooding and hail in Berks County. We had that 68-mile-per-hour gust in Pottstown as this entered Montgomery County, and then we saw that rotation. Kelly said it best, where we had kind of a couple of storms kind of collide, and when storms kind of collide, the wind's going in multiple directions. Sometimes that can create that little bit of rotation needed to generate a tornado warning and perhaps generate a tornado too. But regardless of whether or not this is rotating and that rotation actually makes it to the ground, this definitely has a considerable threat for some wind damage, some hail, up to 1 inch in diameter hail, 70-mile-per-hour winds, and we saw that EF0 to EF1 tornadoes can have 70, 80-mile-an-hour winds and can do significant damage. Straight line winds that blow at 70 miles an hour in a straight line can cause significant damage. So Upper Montgomery, Central Montgomery County now, there's that polygon. No recent updates from the National Weather Service, but seems to me, again, Salford Township, Green Lane. Once again, this is Route 63 right here. This is Route 29, and this yellow line is the Northeast Extension, 476, and it's this area right in here where we're continuing to watch that rotation as it works its way towards the Bucks County line. We'll cross the Northeast Extension. You know, what to do if you're in a car in a tornado warning. That's a little more problematic, right? It's tough to seek shelter in a car, but obviously if you see something threatening farther up the road, you know, you're coming up the Northeast Extension right now, you know, into the heart of the storm. You know, if you pull over ahead of time, or you can actually pull over and, you know, seek shelter from the storm before you come up on the worst of the storm. All right, Kelly's telling me that tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire for Upper Montgomery County. So again, doesn't mean that the storm is over. It just means that the tornado threat, the rotating part of that storm, the rotation has weakened. This storm still can produce some damaging winds. It still can produce some hail. It still can produce some flooding rains. We do have that tornado warning farther south too, into Lower Montgomery County and on the northern and western side of Philadelphia. And that just got expired too from Kelly. So we are going to continuing to watch these storms. The rotation can weaken. Sometimes it can tighten back up as well. I probably would not expect it in this case, but we're going to continue to watch this line of storms. It has had a history of producing severe weather for the past couple of hours. Do not let your guard down in Bucks County. You would be next up for this entire squall line. It's hot and humid ahead of it, and these storms can continue to pack a punch. So to recap, 2 tornado warnings for about the last 30 minutes or so in Montgomery County. No confirmed tornadoes, but we have confirmed wind damage. We have confirmed hail from this squall line, and we'll have to wait and see, you know, after the storm has passed to see if any tornado actually touched down. Still, Montgomery County getting hit hard now. Bucks County, the Philadelphia area, you will be up next. Meteorologist Kelly McGlynn and I will continue to monitor this, and we will resume our early evening news block. Now, guys, back to you.
All right, we want to check in on meteorologist Cecily Tynan. We are covering a tornado watch or warnings in place, Cecily.
Tornado warning. So when we were showing the radar earlier, we were concerned, I think I need a camera here, that we were watching some of the cells kind of converging and creating some spin. So the National Weather Service now, we have 2 tornadoes. So the first tornado warnings. The first one, northwestern Montgomery County and west central Bucks County. As of 5:19, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Spring Mount, 20 miles east of Reading, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So that is that one there. And let me find the latest. So the other one is still, we're getting the other one in our graphic right now before we actually get the data from the National Weather Service. But if you live in this area, so this is a very populated area. So this goes from Montgomery County, much of Montgomery County actually, from Radnor, Abington, Lower Gwinnett. This tornado warning is in effect till 5:45. So we have 2 tornado warnings now. So here right now we have it. So if you live in those areas, you want to get in your safe place right now. So the second one is for southwestern Montgomery County, east central Chester County, northwestern Philadelphia County, and northern Delaware County. So this is a pretty expansive, well-populated area until 5:45. So at 5:20, so 2 minutes ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over King of Prussia, 14 miles northwest of Westchester, and this is also moving very quickly. This is moving east at 40 miles an hour. So flying debris could be associated with any of these possible tornadoes. Again, they are radar indicated. We don't have an eyewitness report, but honestly, there's so much rain with these storms, you're not going to be able to see anything. So if you live within those two areas, you want to get into your basement right now. If you don't have a basement, get into your lowest level of your floor, an interior closet, a bathroom. You want to put as many layers between you and the outdoors as possible. Flying debris is the most dangerous part of tornado. Don't go outside. Don't go to your windows to get any pictures. Get into your safe place right now. So what I want to do, I want to show you these two, and Paul, maybe we can track them as well. So first of all, we've had 117 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes in this particular area. So this, we noticed about 15 minutes ago, we noticed a little bit of rotation near Pottstown. So this is now east of Pottstown through Hatfield, just west of Hilltown. Again, it's moving east at about 35 miles per hour. So lower Pottsgrove, Limerick, lower Frederick, upper Salford, lower Salford, and Hatfield all in the path of this storm. So get in your safe place right now. There's a lot of thunder. There's a lot of lightning. We've already had reports of some wind gusts near 70 miles an hour. So even if you don't get the tornado, this is coming with a lot of straight line winds. You remember the storm we had 3 weeks ago that caused all that wind damage. Unfortunately, this is what we're looking at. So this is the area right now under the tornado warning. It's just north and east of Pottstown, crossing 29, actually heading towards the Blue Route. If you know anyone who's taking the Blue Route home in this direction, in this area, maybe give them a call, tell them to pull over, get into a sturdy building. You really do not want to be in your car during a possible tornado. So this shows relative velocity. So this is the wind direction. So where we have the green, that's the wind heading towards the radar site. Where we have the purple and the red tones, that's the wind that's heading away. And we can probably kind of put this into motion. And a lot of times when we put it into motion, you can see a little bit of that rotation. So you see near Pottstown and Limerick, we've got that green and the red very close. And there we go. So this is about the past 15 minutes or so. And we can see that there is a bit of rotation in the atmosphere. So typically with the tornado warnings that are radar indicated, you can see with the radar, with something like this, the relative velocity, that there is some spin in the atmosphere. You get the spin in the atmosphere, a funnel cloud forms. If the funnel cloud hits the ground, that is officially a tornado. And a lot of times in our area, we get the fast-moving tornadoes that they hit briefly and then they pick up. Looks like the best, the greatest gate-to-gate shear right now is near Conshohocken, near Norristown. If you live in this area, just north of Radnor, this is a pretty strong signature on the relative velocity that we're seeing some rotation. So if you live in this area, again, seek shelter immediately. Get into your basement, get into the lowest level of your home. Stay away from any windows because that does look like a very strong signature on relative velocity that there is some rotation in the atmosphere. Again, we've already had a lot of reports of wind damage with winds gusting near 70 miles an hour, and this could add to some of that damage. So Plymouth, Whitemarsh, Glenside, Abington, Hatfield, and Lower Moreland, all in the path of this storm. Now, the tornado warning is in effect until 5:45, but even after that, we're going to be dealing with these storms moving to the east very quickly. We had the heat index above 100. We have a cold front pushing in, so there's a lot of atmospheric dynamics to create these really intense thunderstorms right now. So we've had 3 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes. Norristown looks like we got a little bit of that hook. So with the radar, when you get that hook, it's an indication that there's some winds kind of wrapping around a storm, and that is one of the radar signatures that there could be a possible tornado. So again, we've got that tornado warning in effect for parts of Philadelphia, Bucks, Chester, Montgomery, and Delaware counties until 5:45. So there is a pretty strong signature that there could in fact be a tornado, as we're looking at actually 2 possible tornadoes. So why don't we go ahead and reset, Paul? and go to the 2 tornado warnings. So we did have the severe thunderstorm warnings ahead of the squall line. So now we have a tornado warning until 5:45 for much of Montgomery County, Limerick, Green Lane, Lower Salford, just to the west of Hilltown for the potential for a tornado. And then we also have this tornado warning that's even more expansive that extends from Schuylkill through Norristown, Lower Gwinnett, Abington, and just to the west of Cheltenham. And the storms are moving east pretty quickly at about 40 miles an hour. But the tornado warning itself is pretty expansive because typically when we have a tornado, it doesn't really follow the atmospheric dynamics. It creates its own atmosphere, so it can change direction, it can lift up, it can move faster, it can slow down. And so that's why we have some pretty big polygons, even though if we actually track the storm, it may not show this area that's quite as expansive. So Storm Tracker 6 live double scan showing what we're watching. So a lot of times when we have a possible tornado, they are discrete cells, they are individual cells, but also, and we found this a lot this summer, that we also can see some notches in a squall line, and that's an indication that there's some rotation. So we've got this one right now, this little notch, it looks like it's filling in a bit, but it's moving east pretty quickly. I can see it right there. That's near Hilltown, and we have another one near Norristown, kind of crossing the Blue Route, heading towards Glenside. So we have 2 cells that could possibly cause a tornado, and that's why we have that tornado warning. Now, in addition to the potential for damaging winds, we also have the potential for flash flooding. Rainfall rates are really incredible with this particular squall line. So we have rainfall rates close to 3 inches per hour. If you stepped outside at all today, you notice the humidity is just so high. So these storms are kind of wringing out all the moisture from the atmosphere. So we have kind of a triple threat. We have dangerous lightning, we have damaging wind gusts, possible tornado, and we also have some flash flooding. And unfortunately, this is coming during the height of the evening commute. So this is going to be very tough. And actually, we have a fourth threat. We also have hail. So the hail tracks show that it looks like there was some very large hail just to the west of Pottstown, and that's an indication of the strength of the storm. If the storm is higher in the atmosphere, it can pull that hail, that piece of ice, higher and higher, and it just kind of bumps around there and it gets larger. So when we see a hail track like this that shows hail close to, actually this one, more than 1 inch in diameter. So that's pretty, we don't see that in our area very often. So that's an indication that these storms really have a lot of atmospheric energy. So we're looking at flash flooding, we're looking at wind damage, we're looking at the potential for damaging hail at all. You want to come in and...
There's an update here for the, yeah, I'm going to come on this side of you, for the northern cell that has that tornado warning. At 5:28, there was an update there, continuing until 5:45. It is about 21 miles south of Allentown, moving east at 30 miles an hour. So they are continuing this, and some of the towns that could be impacted and what you want to watch for here would be Lansdale, Souderton, Hatfield, Schwanksville, Green Lane, that's northern Montgomery County, Spring Mountain, that's where Spring Mountain is, if you know that particular area. Skip back, Telford, Sellersville, Harleysville, Culpsville, and Montgomeryville. So they're continuing it, and you can see a little bit of that broad gate-to-gate shear there near Green Lane. And it continues to move east at 30 miles an hour. So it's getting close to Green Lane, northern Montgomery County, near the northeast extension, just south or right around the Quakertown exit. So we'll watch that as it bumps into northern parts of Bucks County as well.
So again, we were saying that if you know anybody who is traveling and possibly taking that route, maybe give them a call, give them a heads up in case they're not getting the alert on their phone to go another direction. You really do not want to be, you don't want to be in the blue route, on the blue route when you have this possible tornado heading your way. You do not want to be in a car.
And they just updated the southern tornado warning. It has been canceled only for Delaware County and Chester County. So it still continues because that's part of northern Philadelphia County, lower Montgomery County. So if you're in Delaware County or Chester County with that southern tornado warning, that has been discontinued, but it does continue until 5:45 for Montgomery County as well as Philadelphia County. And I can look here at the updated verbiage of that. The tornado thunderstorm which prompted the warning has moved out of the warning area for those in Chester and northern Delaware County, but it continues for southeastern Montgomery, northwestern Philadelphia County, moving to the east at 40 miles an hour. This is radar indicated. Weather spotters did report a funnel cloud So that is new here. Doesn't say exactly where that funnel cloud was reported, but it was reported by weather spotters in some of the towns to watch for, as you were talking, Cecily, Norristown, Conshohocken. That's where it was a few moments ago.
Yeah, I can see
but
that.
Ambler, Abington, Brenathan, Willow Grove, Plymouth Meeting, Chestnut Hill, King of Prussia, which is west of it, and Horsham, as well as Bridgeport. So
Yeah.
this continues over a very populated area.
Fort Washington, Bluebell as well. So if you live in this area, again, this red polygon, which from Norristown through Abington, Cheltenham, just to the south and west of Warminster, you want to seek shelter right away. So a tornado warning, again, with the update, not just radar indicated, but as Adam said, someone did actually spot a funnel cloud. And we have been seeing with the relative velocity that we have the winds heading in different directions. And that often is an indication that there could in fact be a tornado.
So it's going to
Let's
be
see
east of here, because there's Chester County
Yep.
here. Here's central parts of Montgomery County, so it's going to be somewhere on the front end of that. Also, they did
flash flood warning now too.
yeah, I mean, the rainfall rate's only 2 to 3 inches an hour. Douglasville, Berks County, there's a tree down on the residence in there. And as you noted, you mentioned that there was winds up near 68 miles an hour in Pottstown. Honeybrook, there's trees, wires, and poles down in Honeybrook. That's where this kind of started, the genesis of it, and it just plowed through that part of Chester County.
And I do want to bring it to everyone's attention that if you were under the tornado warning and it's been canceled, there are still severe thunderstorms in your area. So even if the tornado warning is canceled, we're also looking at straight line winds, perhaps some microbursts. We're seeing all the lightning. We've had 261 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes. And again, if you can hear that rumble of thunder, you need to be indoors. Lightning can strike about 10 miles ahead of a storm. So if you can hear that rumble of thunder, it means the storm is close enough that you could be struck by lightning. Now, did the tornado warning just...
No.
I saw it disappear, or we just got rid of it?
No, I think you just got rid of it. But one of the issues that we're having here is we have some storms that are moving from west to east at 40, 50 miles an hour. Then you get these little discrete cells. Notice how they're popping ahead of the main line. These are moving southwest to northeast. So when you get the convergence of these storms moving from the west, these storms coming in from the south and west, when they're coming together, that's when you're getting these outflow boundaries and these differing winds in these storms kind of converging with one another. So that's why we're starting to see a little bit of twisting in spots. So more than likely, you know, there very well could be these quick little spin-ups as these storms converge.
And we can see it here right now. It looks like the best rotation is now east of Norristown. But if you live in Norristown right now, not only are you hearing the thunder, you are probably hearing that rush of wind.
Because which is the green.
Yeah, those winds are, again, up to close to 70 miles per hour. So unfortunately, I know 3 weeks ago, we were dealing with all the power outages.
Just before I came on, I looked, there's 15,000 customers. Before I just stepped out to chat with you all, 15,000 Pico customers without power. That was a 5 or 10 minutes ago. But we're also seeing this little, look at this little guy
right there,
here.
near Ben
little
Salem.
notch, which is in lower parts of Bucks County, near the Pennsylvania Turnpike.
Just south of Warminster.
Yeah, so we're going to watch that guy. In addition, not only are you dealing with, again, these little pop-ups with these rotation, but then behind it, you get the rush of straight line winds, you know, coming with it as well. So I'd watch that for southern Bucks County, for Mercer County, lower Bucks County, also into Burlington County, watching some of these very strong winds heading your way.
And it's getting very close to the Delaware River as well.
Yeah, even
so
Center
we'll
City.
have to
Paul,
see.
why don't you go down south just a little bit so you can see south of there.
So we can see Philadelphia.
Yeah, there you go. So you get that rush.
This is where it looks like we have some rotation. We don't have a tornado warning officially for that area, but we're going to be watching that. And then you can see just actually close to Philadelphia now, we are getting the rush of the straight line winds. So those winds could be up to about 70 miles per hour.
And if the director, at some point, if you want to pull up any of the Sky Sixes in the city, you know, we could see what it looks like is more than likely. It's probably pitch black at this point as the rain is about to approach parts of Center City, and you're getting that rush of wind about to move into Center City, Philadelphia. And notice this little guy here just popping up south of Concord out of nowhere, and that's going to converge with these storms to the north here. So we're seeing a bunch of convergence going on in the atmosphere right now.
And ahead of the line of storms, we're seeing all those severe thunderstorm warnings popping up. But again, we have taken over. Yeah, you can see it's getting dark and stormy. And you can see the rain shafts there. You can see that rain kind of on the horizon.
So this is where the storms are coming from on the left part of your screen here. So continue to, you know, and again, please, in the control room, if you see something on cameras, just pull them up and we can talk right over them. We can do do it on the fly for you guys.
So
thank
again,
you
we
for
have
bringing
that
up.
tornado warning until 5:45 for southeastern Montgomery, northwest Philadelphia counties. At last report, a possible tornado was located near Plymouth Meeting, but this was a few minutes ago, moving east at 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So this entire area is under that tornado warning. So if you're just joining us, if you live within that red polygon from Upper Dublin, near Cheltenham, Carpenter, through Conshohocken, now Norristown, the rotation has left, but you're still dealing with straight line winds.
Yeah.
So I would get into your basement right away, get into your safe place. If you don't have a basement, lowest level of your building or your home, in a closet or an interior, maybe bathroom, something away from the windows.
Yeah, and if you don't have a TV down there, number one, you can get us on our app, 6ABC app. You can watch us live on there. In addition to that, what I tell people sometimes is turn up your TV really loud upstairs if you're downstairs, so you can at least hear what we're having to say when you're in your safe space, you know, somewhere away from a television.
Or just wait until you don't hear any
Well, that too.
any
but,
wind or
you know,
any
it's-
thunder. But we like you to trust us with this.
Yes.
So until 5:45. So we've kind of zoomed in, and this
This is the northern one.
The northern.
Say that again, Paul? Yeah, this is the northern one.
So Tallaminson, Hatfield, Harleysville, Earlington, Green Lane until 5:45.
All right, and that big
So,
yellow thing you see flashing, that's a new severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, they're just
that
popping
has
up
been
all over the
issued,
place.
Which has not come through the chat room just yet, but that is another severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued around that area. That continues. Here it is. All right, tornado expiring. The tornado warning for north central Montgomery and west central Bucks County. This one here will expire at 5:45, but they've now prompted a new severe thunderstorm warning for the same area with winds possible up to 70 miles an hour. And something else to note, a lot of folks, when they see damage come through, they're like, I know a tornado came through, I know a tornado came through. Straight line winds can be just as destructive and damaging and scary as a tornado. They're one and the same when you're talking about a weak tornado and straight line winds.
And they're saying right now that the tornado threat is lowering, but the wind damage threat remains very high, and the flash flooding and the hail threat as well. We have seen some of these storms producing some abundant areas of hail. So New Britain, Abington, Buckingham, Bensalem, Bristol, and Levittown, all in the path of the storm. Right now, it's moving east at about 40 miles an hour. And we've had 84 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes. So this is all ahead of a cold front that is bumping into the just disgusting air mass that we had today with the heat and humidity. So there's so much fuel for these storms.
There is, and again, you look at it, cold air is dense, it's heavy, warm air is buoyant, it rises. So we have so much heat and humidity today that air is just rising 30, 40, 50,000 feet in the atmosphere, bringing down these very strong winds. And Paul, let's go closer, to Philadelphia, because when Cecily was chatting, I was noting near the Conshohocken curve, this is a big area. You got 202, you got the Pennsylvania Turnpike, you got the Schuylkill Expressway, you got the Blue Route, the Northeast Extension, and the lightning was tremendous when I just saw the radar in this zone here where you're getting that rush of wind. So I would not be surprised people along the Schuylkill are parked to the side right now just due to the intensity of the rain and those strong winds, because we've seen many trees come down on the Schuylkill when you're driving from the Gladwin exit to the Blue Route. There's a lot of trees and a lot of very steep hills here, and the water rushes down and tends to flood the Schuylkill at times.
And it's hard to drive in rainfall rates like this. I mean, we're looking at rainfall rates at close to 2 inches an hour. One thing I should mention, if you do want to pull over because of the rain, because of the winds, it's actually better if you don't pull over under an overpass, because that actually can funnel the winds even more, even though you kind of want to, because it protects you from the rain.
All right, so it's 5:40 right now, correct?
So
they're saying they're going to expire. They're going to they are going to let both of the tornado warnings expire at 5:45 in 4 minutes from now, which means that the tornado risk has considerably dropped.
Yes, but they have been saying, and we're seeing as well, that the severe thunderstorm risk remains in effect very high. And we're looking at the potential for straight line winds. We're looking at the potential for flash flooding and large hail. And you can see that Sky 6,
that's from our yard, the yard from right outside of our studios.
Oh, that's right outside of our studio.
Right outside our studio is the yard looking westbound, and you can see just the intensity of the darkness to that cloud cover there.
Looks like night.
It looks like night. And again, if you could see some of those trees definitely are whipping around a bit there as well outside of our studios here. on our yard, which is looking westbound right now towards Montgomery County, is where that camera is looking. And then here you have some of the storm reports where you got that 68-mile-an-hour wind gust that was measured in Pottstown as these storms were coming through at 5 o'clock.
And we're also seeing a lot of flash flooding. So we have reports in Birdsboro that water is rushing over the roadway on Jackson Street. So this is a big problem. So with storms like this, in the beginning, like the leading edge is where you get the wind damage. So Honeybrook, we have trees, wires, poles down at a 445. So you get the high winds, you get the tornado threat at the leading edge, and then behind that, that's where you get the flash flood threat. So we do have a lot of reports of flash flooding. There were flash flooding North Heidelberg. So a lot of roads are starting to flood over, and this is a reminder, again, if you're driving, if you're going anywhere, please do not drive through any flooded roads. If you live in a flood-prone area, if you live on a road that has river or creek in its name, just watch the waterways, because there's a potential that you may have to leave and seek higher ground.
And this is hail track that we're showing, so you can see southeastern parts of Berks County, northern Chester County. And notice, again, here it shows those storms moving in different directions, so that's why that tornado warning started here as these two storms congealed and kind of pushed their winds together, and that's what probably brought that spin up or that possible tornado that was radar indicated.
And that's when we were back in the weather center and we're looking at it and we're looking at the relative velocity, and we're like, uh-oh, like it looks like there is some spin.
Yeah, so, and before this expires, Paul, can we go to the radar one more time? There was a nasty storm in Delaware County. This one I was watching really blowing up, and that is heading towards South Philadelphia, right over Chester, the Commodore Barry Bridge as well, and the southern part near Lima, Media, in that vicinity, so we'll be watching that one.
And notice there is no severe thunderstorm warning with this, but you can see all the lightning associated with it. So Ridley, Upper Darby, Philadelphia, Camden, Cherry Hill, and Moorestown all in the path of this cell. So we've seen a lot of thunder and lightning, we've seen flooding, and we've seen wind damage with this particular system as it continues to push to the east.
And this is moving right towards the airport, and I believe Shari or Rick, one of you two said there's a ground stop, what, till 6 o'clock, correct?
Yes,
at the airport,
for departing flights and those who were trying to also head to Philadelphia. Some might be circling that way en route.
Sure they are. And this storm just fired up here. And look at this. Look at this area of storms in Maryland.
So that's going to be hitting Delaware.
I mean, that is a tremendous amount. I mean, over 1,200 lightning strikes just in this vantage point here.
So now we're seeing in southeast Pennsylvania, it's really kind of transitioning from a severe weather threat to the flash flooding threat. It's crossing into New Jersey. This cell will be crossing into Delaware. So we do expect that the severe thunderstorm warnings could be extended into New Jersey and Delaware as it continues to push to the east. But the tornado warning is going to be canceled in
9 seconds.
We're going to do a countdown. But again, we do have a very vicious line of storms moving to the east. So please stay weather aware, keep us on, and we will be breaking into all the news coverage if we have any more tornado warnings.
Yes.
So let's send it back to you guys.
All right, guys.
National Weather Service, and you can see, Cecily, once again, it is in a very populated area.
And this is our third tornado warning of the night. So from just east of Horsham, Newtown, Grant, through Levittown, actually heading towards Trenton, very close to Trenton, including Bensalem. So huge area. And again, if you live in this area, get into your basement. If you don't have a basement, get into the lowest level of your home. I know I say this over and over again. An interior closet or a bathroom, you want to put as many layers between you and the outdoors as possible. You do not want to be on a second floor. You want to be in the basement or the lowest level and get into the bathroom, maybe even cover your head.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a lot of wind damage with this particular squall line moving to the east.
Yeah, not only when you're talking about the possibility of a tornado, but the possibility of a tornado, we've had straight line winds of nearly 70 miles an hour, which is like a weak tornado moving through an area. And this is very broad rotation, but right now it is near I-95 as you lift into northeast Philadelphia County, lower parts of Bucks County, Mercer County's way up there near Trenton along Route 113, also the Pennsylvania Turnpike. So again, this would be the zone that we are watching here along the Pennsylvania Turnpike just to the north of Bensalem and Levittown.
And moving east pretty quickly at about 35 miles per hour. But again, that polygon is pretty broad because tornadoes don't always follow the same path. They can speed up, they can shift direction. So lower Southampton, Middletown, Fairless Hills, Levittown, Morrisville, and Weber Park all in the path of this possible tornado. The National Weather Service has also said, be aware that we're seeing a lot of flash flooding with this cell as well. So not only are we seeing the potential for wind damage with that possible tornado or even the straight line winds, we're seeing the flash flooding, we've got the lightning, and we've got the hail as well. Mother Nature's just kind of unloading everything on us.
Really,
tonight.
and it's during the evening rush hour, so there are a lot of people on area roadways. So if you find yourself going out, or if you know someone who had just left the house around here, please give them a call. Let them know that there's a tornado warning in this area if you know someone out on the roads. And also, if they ever encounter a road that's water covered, do not attempt to drive through. If you see the car in front of you attempting it, don't do it. Just turn around, find an alternate route, because we're dealing with quite a bit of water on the roadways.
And you can see the flash flood warning in effect until 10 o'clock. So a flash flood warning means that flooding is happening or it's imminent for a very wide location. The rainfall rates we've been seeing close to 3 inches per hour. Yeah, I mean, it's really, you can't even drive in that. The best thing to do is really pull over. If you're in the tornado warning and you are in your car, pull over and get into a sturdy building. You do not want to be in your car. But even if you're not under the tornado warning, we've been seeing that rainfall rates close to 3 inches per hour. We've also been seeing a lot of wind damage. We have a report from Norristown, Montgomery County. A large tree is blocking the roadway at the corner of Hillcrest Avenue and Evergreen Road. So it's not a good evening commute. We're getting the wind damage, we're getting the flash flooding.
Trees down, wires down, poles down near Honeybrook we saw. And again, wherever you see the red, that is winds rushing away from the radar. Green is moving towards the radar. So this is very broad rotation, but notice right at the beginning, those bright red and bright green right there. Paul, I don't know if you could pause this and go back a couple of frames.
Right in the beginning.
Right at the very beginning. That's probably when they prompted the tornado warning, right here. That is where I would have clearly said there could be something funny going on in the upper atmosphere.
Very close to Abington, and to kind of let our viewers in on the science behind this, that the brighter the color, the stronger the winds. So when you see the bright green, that's an indication of very fast-moving winds towards the radar site. When you see the bright red, fast-moving winds away. So when you have a bright green and a bright red right next to each other, that's what's called gate-to-gate shear. It's a very strong couplet, and it's an indication that there could be a tornado, and that's why they did prompt that tornado warning. So again, the third tornado warning of the night, all ahead of that squall line that's blowing through a region. We knew it was going to be an active night. Didn't know if we were going to see 3 tornado warnings.
3 tornado warnings. Trees and wires down in Perkiomen, Montgomery County, that just came in. So we've seen a lot of those trees and wires and poles down in parts of Berks County, Chester County, Montgomery County. Just got a severe thunderstorm warning with winds possible at 70 miles an hour, straight line winds for northwestern Kent County as well as parts of Newcastle County with that line in Delaware.
So now we're showing some of the storm reports that we've seen as that squall line continues to blow through. So we've had 20 reports just in that box. 3 flash flooding, 4 hail, some heavy rain, and most of it is thunderstorm wind damage. So when we've been seeing the winds reported close to 70 miles per hour. So the wind damage is a big concern. Power outages, we didn't have a chance to see how many there are, but unfortunately, I do think there are going to be the tornado watches. So the tornado warning continues until 6:30.
Yeah, right here, and you're talking about areas of roadways of 32, 332, Route 1 as you head into northeast Philadelphia into Bucks County, Levittown, lower Southampton Township, Northampton Township. Warminster's right on the edge, the northwestern edge, because we saw that little couplet that tried to kind of form in lower parts of Bucks County, just outside of northeast Philadelphia with that image when we're talking about the reflectivity here. So again, a very broad area. And again, Cecily, this is what you want to do.
Yeah, and we've been saying all night. So go into your basement, go into the lowest level of your home. If you don't have a basement, an interior hallway closet maybe, or a bathroom. No
windows.
Yeah, in the age of social media, I know a lot of people want to go to the windows and get videos. Just don't do that, because the debris, the flying debris, is really the most dangerous part of tornado. In our area, we get the smaller ones. We get the EF0s, EF1s, the 2s, but it's strong enough that it can bring a tree onto your house, so that's why you want to get in the basement. And even the straight line winds are strong enough that we're seeing the potential for pretty widespread tree damage.
And if you're in a high rise, I got a lot of people say, I'm in a high rise, I'm in a big apartment apartment complex. What do? You get to the lowest floor.
Yeah.
You get to the lowest floor. If you have an interior, stairwell where there's an elevator, that's also a great place to be if you happen to be in one of those type of buildings. But 54 lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes underneath this tornado warning, and the worst of it now just to the north of Salem. And if there were to be a tornado, as you noted, Cecily, with the last two you were talking this, it's rain wrapped. You're not going to see it.
It's hard to say.
You're not going to see it whatsoever.
So we have also, let's see, local storm reports. We're talking about hail. Berks County reporting hail an inch in diameter. So we've seen some really large hail, which typically we don't get a lot of large hail in our area.
Just trying to look at this.
So wider view.
And we're starting to see again one of these
Right
cells
here.
popping. Yeah, it's over this area, but it's these little discrete areas that form ahead of it. And then when the two merge, that's when you get that twisting of winds possible in the upper part of the atmosphere. Whether it makes it to the ground, that's something to look at later down the line if there's a lot of damage. But nonetheless, we're talking about a rush of wind, 60 to 70 miles an hour for Levittown at 610. That's the worst of it to come through here. Hamilton at 626. Once you get into Mercer County, Mercerville, around the bottom of the hour at 630.
Paul, you want to go wider? We can show the whole line and the severe thunderstorm warnings also, because our whole area is going to be affected by this squall line. So we've had 228 lightning strikes, actually at this view, more than 700. So the strongest part of the storm, the leading edge, it's pushing through Philadelphia right now. It's heading to the east at about 35 miles per hour. But this line extends down through Maryland. So if you live in Delaware, you're going to be getting hit really hard. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
1,000 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes.
In this part, you can see it. This is one of those situations where it's just a constant rumble and constant flashes, like you're just constantly hearing it. And again, you wouldn't even hear, like people say it sounds like a freight train, whether it's a tornado coming through or straight line winds. It's such a strong rush sound of wind that you may not even hear it because you're hearing so much thunder at the same time here. And here's some people talking about
Elkton, Christiana, Newcastle, Pennsville, Smyrna, Piles Grove. Now this is not the tornado warning, but this is a vicious line of storms that's raking to the east. And when you have more than 1,000 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes, this view alone, it is just like loaded with energy. And so that's why we want everyone to know that if you're driving in this, please pull over. The severe thunderstorm warning is now for parts of Kent County, like all of Newcastle County, Delaware, ahead of that squall line. Chestertown right now, they're hearing it, and it's just to the west of our viewing area. So we want to give you a heads up.
We just got another report of a 53-mile-an-hour wind gust at Northeast Philadelphia Airport. So 53-mile-an-hour gust there. And this is a nasty storm that is blossoming again. These are moving over the same locations as well. And if in the control room director, I would be very curious to see what our Society Hill camera looks like, because our Society Hill camera is right about here and it looks west towards this storm. So again, to give a vantage point of these storms coming into Center City at this time. And this area right here, that is one nasty cell of over 100 lightning strikes in 15 minutes in Delaware County heading toward the airport and Center City.
So the director, if you want to pull up any Sky 6s at any point to show us.
All right, so
there we go.
You can just see, again, it's dark as night. Before the tornado warning came in, we were watching this, and you could see the rain on the right part of the screen, and on the left, you could see lightning bolts coming out of the sky as well. So the worst of the storm is now approaching South Philadelphia. Not the tornado warned storm, but the worst of that severe storm is in Delaware County heading towards Center City right now.
And this is why the National Weather Service issued the severe thunderstorm watch for our whole area. Look at this. It looks like Armageddon. So we're trying to look at the Center City skyline, but it's so dark it looks like the dead of night. And I think we're actually seeing some lightning. There we go.
Okay, and Westchester Pike is next to, on the camera here.
Oh, right next to, okay,
so yeah,
thank you.
This is the action cam live right now on Westchester Pike, moving eastbound on Westchester Pike, where you can again see a lot of cars on the roads, see a lot of red lights here, the drops on the lens. So a lot of folks on the road this time of day trying to get home from work, and you're dealing with blinding rain, you're dealing with trees down, wires down, tornado warnings, hail, just about everything.
And we do have an update, speaking of that, in Berks County right now, 1025 East Main Street roads are closed now. due to flooding. This is in Union Township, Berks County. So I know a lot of people are having a very tough time trying to get home tonight because a lot of the roads are closed to flooding. And we've also had reports in Montgomery County that some roads are closed because trees are across the road. We've seen the lightning.
So good news here. The tornado warning for Montgomery is canceled. Southern Bucks and Northeast Philadelphia has been canceled, but we're still dealing with a severe thunderstorm. So Paul, why don't we just real quick before we throw it over to Brian, we'll show to confirm, yes, the tornado warning is gone, but we are still dealing with a slew of severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, the threat is considerable due to those winds up near 70 miles an hour.
70-mile-an-hour straight-line winds can cause as much damage as a tornado. So please seek shelter if these storms are heading your way. We will have an update coming up in the next few minutes for the full AccuWeather forecast. Let's head back to Brian for the news of the day.
News.